All right, welcome back. So this video on assessing regression assumptions will just be kind of a continuation of the last video where we're just looking at our example and applying each of those assessments to this example on our course evaluation data. And so the scatter plot was given earlier in this note packet, but the residual plot is now provided. So remember, that's the plot with residuals on the y-axis and our explanatory variable on the x-axis, which in this case is attractiveness. And our histogram of the residuals is also given. So that just has residuals on the x-axis and then our usual count, since this is a histogram, on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and practice evaluating each of these four assumptions. So for each, I'll kind of pause for a couple seconds just to give you some time to pause the video, and you can practice assessing them on your own. And so the first is linearity. Okay, that was supposed to be your pause. Perhaps I should have made it more clear, but regardless, if you kind of look at linearity, you should be flipping back, going all the way back to page 2 where we originally saw this scatter plot. And so I'm looking at that scatter plot. I'm not seeing any curvature at all. And so I'm going to put a little check mark. And I'm going to say no curvature. And just to maybe remind myself for later, I'm going to write where I was looking. So I was looking at the scatter plot on page 2. So linearity is good. Independence we're actually going to discuss later in this handout. So we're going to talk about it on page 14. So we're going to kind of ignore that for now. Normality, so this third check. So again, I'll give you a couple seconds to pause the video and make the assessment. Okay, did you do it? You should do it. Don't make me awkwardly pause this video and then not do it. That'd be so sad. So normality, I am seeing some left skewness in this histogram, but we also know that our sample size was almost 200. And so there is some left skewness, but our sample size is large. So for this example, we can do everything that we talk about in Stat 113. So normality, like we mentioned before, is like the least important one. It's important for like prediction intervals, but we don't talk about those in this class. And as long as our sample size is large and there's no extreme skewness or extreme outliers, we can do all of the intervals and hypothesis tests that we'll talk about later. And so last is constant variance. So take a second to assess that. All right, and so constant variance, I'm looking at this residual plot and I'm noticing that, okay, the spread, it looks like it like increases a little there and then decreases a little, but all in all, it's fine. It's never gonna look perfect with real data as long as there's not like any sort of extreme pattern like we drew out in our example. We're good. And so this is going to be good. There's no like funnel or fan shape in the residual plot. And just to really remind myself what I was looking at, I'm going to draw an arrow up to there. And for normality, I'm going to draw an arrow up to here, just to kind of remind myself of what I was looking at for each of these assessments. Okay, so you'll get some more practice with this in today's handout, and as always, let me know if you have any questions.